There's no earthly way of knowing which direction we are going. There's no knowing where we're rowing or which way the river's flowing. It is it raining? Is it snowing? Is a hurricane a blowing? Not a speck of light is showing, so the danger must be growing. Are the fires of hell a glowing? Is the grisly reaper mowing? Yes, the danger must be growing, for the rowers keep on rowing, and they're certainly not showing any signs that they are slowing. Whoa. Yep, that is the line from Willy Wonka himself, Gene Wilder, while they're in the boat. He has some great lines in this movie. I mean, I remember watching it as a kid, and you love the parts where Violet becomes Violet and turns into a giant grape, and when Veruca ends up going down, and she was a bad egg. So you love those parts. But I'll tell you, watching it as an adult on the big screen, it was great. Yeah, I mean, it was just awesome. But what you really get as an adult is this sense of just how creepy Willy Wonka is. I mean, some of the stuff, but I love when he's like, no, don't, please stop. Yeah, I mean, it's just obvious. He's like, let the kid do what he's going to do because it's going to be one less for me to deal with later. It's yeah. So this is the genre report. I just wanted to start it off with a little bit of quoting there, and I'm going to go ahead and just talk about Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, which was a book that was made into Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, starring Gene Wilder. Yes, in honor of Gene Wilder's passing, I went to the Gateway Film Center to watch it on the big screen. I'd never seen it on the big screen. I had only watched it on video as a kid, and I think I just watched it maybe 5 years ago or something like that. I'd watched it again. It's such a classic, based on the book by Roald Dahl. So yeah, there was actually supposed to be a sequel to it, but the author actually did not like the way this movie spent too much time on Willy Wonka and not enough time on Charlie. So the sequel was never made into a movie, which is Charlie and the Great Glass Elevator. And then there actually was going to be a third book called Charlie at the White House that he never got a chance to write. Yeah, some just very fascinating stuff about this. I had just on my last video, I think it was actually the video before last, I mentioned how I did not like BFG, and it just didn't get that magic that I really wanted to, I really expected from a Roald Dahl story, this movie had in spades. I mean, it was amazing. Just, you don't really realize how much of its setup, of how destitute Charlie and his family are, and you have this kid who's just he's making sure that he's delivering papers until it gets dark out, so that he can give some a little pittance to his grandfather Joe, who is married. He gives up his tobacco habit, his one pipe a day, so that Charlie can get a chocolate bar. One of the things that and I noticed this last time, and I noticed it again this time. There's one point when Charlie, it's his birthday, and they give him a Wonka bar. And they're like, open it up. But it actually isn't a Wonka bar. So they make a big deal out of it that the Wonka bars have them. But the one what he gets the first time is like a whoopie pie, like a Wonka whoopie pie. And I'm like, and then at one point, so when he finds the coin in the grate, he goes in, he gets a scrumdiddlyumptious bar. And it seems like the ones that have the tickets are the actual classic Wonka bars, because that's what the Veruca's dad's peanut factory is shelling are those. And so that was one thing I think they didn't actually establish in the movie was, are they in all Wonka bars or just like the main classic Wonka bar? But that's where Charlie eventually got his was that classic Wonka bar. Um, which I remember when the last movie came out, there was like a resurgence of Wonka candy, and there was a Wonka bar that had actual candy bar that had like graham cracker in it. It was actually pretty good. Yeah, I could go for a Wonka bar right now. I could, but of course that's just because I'm hungry. And yeah, so. Just from the beginning, you get that sense of who Charlie is, and he's a hardworking kid who loves his family, and they got the weird thing with the grandparents are all in the same bed, and they've been bedridden for 20 years, and then when he here's the adult in me, when Grandpa Joe finally gets out of the bed, all I could think was. Yeah, his muscles are so atrophied that he couldn't be dancing around like that. Yeah, sometimes it sucks to grow up and realize things like that. You lose the wonder. It's cool to be to be a kid and have that wonder. So, it. Just you have that first part of the movie though with the family and who Charlie is and everything, and then the one song that I found that was really kind of weird was the song about the mother sang about Charlie when he was like so upset that he hadn't found a bar yet. Um, but each of the kids are just perfect archetypes, and then they each get their own little songs, and they each get their own little exit, and it's such a fun from that first moment when Willy Wonka comes out and like invites them in, he introduces himself. He's just so nice to all of them, and literally the veneer of just happy to meet you. I'm going to give you a chance to, okay, you are just the worst of the worst. We're going to go juice you. I mean, the way the progression of the character is quite brilliant. And I was not a fan of the Depp movie because I grew up on this Willy Wonka. On the Gene Wilder Wonka, and now after his death, and just kind of watching it again with specifically looking at his performance, there were these moments of just pure off the cuff kind of just jokes that I wonder if they were truly in the script or if he just kind of said them because they were brilliantly like delivered as far as just like, and there's one point where he grabs I think it's Veruca, she's licking the wallpaper and he's like, we are the music makers and something else, and it's like dang, that makes no sense, and it was beautifully performed. A lot of it doesn't make any sense. I mean, and until I found the one thing with the boat song or the boat poem in the tunnel of horror. I was going to do the Tinkerers thing because when the Tinkerer walks up and says to Charlie that nobody comes out, he has this really creepy thing he says to the kid. Yeah, so there's just, I mean, and I'll be honest with you, I'd love to know if there was actually meaning behind some of those weird things that they say. Yeah, there's the one moment where the one father's complaining. He goes, "All complaints must be submitted in writing." I mean, that was great. And Vernicious Knids. I mean, oh my goodness. Who at one point when he was talking about the Oompa Loompas, and I remember in the Depp movie they actually did like a cut scene to like the Oompa Loompa land, but in this one, as he talked about the Vernicious Knids and the Snoz Wanglers, there was a sense of Dr. Seussian about it. I thought it was very much a Theodore Geisel kind of thing where it felt like I was seeing the creatures from from Seussian artwork. So yeah, it was, but and then apparently I was reading in Wikipedia, which can't be wrong, right? I was reading about the White Charlie at the White House. Apparently, the president invited him because they were able to save somebody from a pernicious canid. So the pernicious canid actually does have a return in the books, or would have had Roald Dahl written the last book. Yeah, apparently he wrote the first chapter. It said so. Uh, yeah, if you haven't watched Charlie and the Chocolate Factory again, I recommend you do it. I mean, just to sit down with the family and watch it. It really is one of those perfect movies that you watch from beginning to end, and you just it hits all the beats. Um, and you gotta love it that even Charlie screws up, and he's got this and so and with Grandpa Joe, and so you've got this point where the hero is still not perfect, but all in all he has a good heart, and that's what really happens at the end there. So and let's take a moment to talk about Willy Wonka's office of weird. He literally had like half everything, like half a clock, half a sink. What a very odd choice of design, because half a sink basically is a waterfall, and this the he grabs the half a contract and half a magnifying glass. Just some real attention to detail in that, and just his funky little office. And then you have so being on a diet, when they went into like the main room with the chocolate river, and they're all like eating it. I was kind of looking at the candy and stuff they were eating and things like that, and I'll be honest with you, it didn't look as edible as I wanted it to be. So that was kind of an odd thing. But yeah, they just and I also for some reason I really looked. I was really enjoying seeing everything on the big screen. I really looked a little bit deeper at the different Oompa Loompas. I think they're all the kind of the same ones. In the depth one, they actually all were the same exact person, which was I think I can't remember his name. Deepak Chog, right? I think something like that. I forget his name, but yeah, the one guy did all of them. But in this one, there was a little bit of difference in the different Oompa Loompas. But for some reason, and it may be my colorblindness, they kind of seem to go from orange to green every once in a while. But they all had such they were such an interesting character for really only doing the songs. I really liked the Oompa Loompas. The songs were brilliant. I mean, that was the beauty in this thing was that it is truly a musical. That just from the scene where where Willy Wonka brings them into the chocolate into the main candy area with the chocolate river and the chocolate waterfall, where he like holds his cane up to like stop them from going down the stairs. That is some beautiful footwork. I mean, it is really amazing how you get this sense of they're all kind of excited, but they're not being allowed to rush ahead, because they're just as they get ready to, he'll stop them with his cane. It has that magic in it that BFG had, that a lot of new stuff just does not have. So if you get, like I said, if you get a chance, watch Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory again. You will be very happy you did. It was a really enjoyable movie. And I just wanted to do a quick review on it. So and it's not quick because it's like 15 minutes at this point. But if you like what you're watching, if you're enjoying it, if you want to start a discussion about Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory and what you enjoyed about the movie, like, comment, subscribe. I want the Genre Report to kind of be a forum for us to talk about some fun stuff, and this is definitely a part of the genre that I love. This is the fantasy genre of the one of the other things you try to figure out the locale of where it is. They're when they're at the fence, they're holding up British flags, and Roald Dahl was from Cardiff, Wales. But like on the magazines at the newsstand, there was French writing, so I wasn't sure if they were in France, but it wasn't really a French kind of accents or anything like that. But I didn't understand why there was French writing on the newsstand print. So that just the little details you kind of notice when you're really watching it. The other question was, and this is one that Marcia asked, and if you know the answer to this one, please do answer in the comments. What came first? Was it the Candyman in the movie, or was it Sammy Davis Jr. doing the Candyman? So, answer that question for me, and thanks for watching the Genre Report. This is John Boone, signing off.